Thank you. So the question, and we have a saying, the devil's in the details, right? So now we're to the point where the details come. And probably the easiest scenario is where we have an institution that's providing content, the instructor, and the credentials, right? They own all that. Can they deliver that on this consortium platform? Are we going to allow that as a policy? And I think most of us would say yes, we would want to do that. But in doing that, obviously that institution will probably be charging for that credential, charging and recovering costs for that instructor. As Mary said, should money come back to the consortium to, again, cover some of the operational costs of that consortium? So we want you to all weigh in on that. It gets a little dicier, though, when we have content that is open, provided by an institution, and we have another institution that, again, grabs that content, provides instruction themselves, and potentially then credentials that. So how is Iowa State going to feel when Michigan State grabs your content, we create a credential, we deliver it with our own instructors, and then we're charging and actually generating revenue off of that?
And what's the role of the consortium in that then? Why have that consortium?
Obviously, we don't have the answers, right?
We just have the questions.
Yeah.
It's just the only thing at this point of time says, like now, we have this platform, One Agriculture, One Science Consortium. After several hours of very, very knowledgeable individuals' efforts and also the resources, we reached at this level. That doesn't mean like it's a set stone. Like maybe, hey, they proposed something, we need to accept and follow. No. So it's more like an inclusive. So it's an opportunity for us. It's a thought process which has come out after several months of work and the subsequent meetings and outcomes. Many individuals, even some vice chancellors here. So how do we go together and how do we bring these shared resources to a platform? At the same time, what are the ways to sustain for a longer term and continue engage ourselves and continue have this platform to move on? So the way we need to look at it, it's a basis to allow us the discussion, and these questions guide us to see what we need to discuss. And finally, end of the meeting, what we are expecting is, hey, this is going to be formed by us and whoever contributed to this meeting. And we are going to be part of this one. We are going to run this one. So it's not for one institute. It's all together, the way we need to plan and execute these activities.
So we've outlined, as you see, many issues on that, and one of those that Dr. Misser brought up is particularly the quality control. How do we ensure that the integrity of our institutions are not challenged or by this, if the fact that we don't have the quality aspects on there? And so again, that becomes one of many issues that we're going to be discussing this afternoon and in the forward. I don't think we're probably going to walk away with all the answers today and tomorrow from our consortium, but the beginning part is to ask the questions. What are those aspects we need to be thinking about?
And these questions also just to start somewhere. And if you feel like in the group, like there are some questions to come, and please do include that one and provide those responses as well. Then we are understanding and collectively formulating the bylaws, the way we need to work together. And other than that, when we do have some institute mandates and institute policies and procedures, like for example, see these centers, when they work on that, when we see all of them as an international public goods, we wanted to unlock the potential and make it available. For land-grant state universities, they have a mandate for both IPGs as well as they need to generate the revenues. So how this providing these resources to the outside community and how their time is paying back and the revenue generation opportunities for those respective members also. That's why Tom is explaining. If I have contributed a course and I'm licensing that one, if somebody is taking that one, how that gives some revenue opportunities to my university. If anybody is learning free, allow them to learn free. But if they wanted to expect some certificate, the non-credit or whatever that may be, so how we can do that one. These are all like an open-ended question, but we need to collectively come together and address or provide valuable input. It's a journey we are taking this.
So this afternoon, we want you to address these questions, but more importantly, are there other aspects that we haven't even thought about that we need to be addressing this afternoon in our breakout sessions? So please come to us over the lunch hour and let us know what other issues, as you've thought about this, that your institution needs to have to ensure that you're providing those questions and that we can provide those answers to the consortium.
And just again, clarify with context, the bylaws are the foundational operational document. The questions that we're asking you today and we're asking you to comment on become then the policies and procedures of this organization. And again, two separate but very interrelated activities.
That's right. I think we are thinking in a new way of doing business. You know, what you are saying is some of this intellectual property can be very messy, but it can be addressed. You know, let me give you an example. We have been developing some plan building modules with the Gates Foundation funding, and that is going to be available anywhere in the world in the public domain. That's just an example of how things can be done. But there are instances where perhaps this will not work. We may have to think of, being a seed scientist, I think of a hybrid model, where there will be some revenue generation and there will be some portion which will be available in the public domain. I think if we can do these things from the very beginning and set it up in the right way, I think the distribution of the knowledge is going to be very efficient and very effective.
In the next session, we're going to be speaking about specific technologies, but I challenge us all to think about this foundation as we are going to go through different technological iterations of this. And so that we're working now and going to be focusing on the technologies available for us today, but in the future, how do we create this foundation that will accept other technologies as they become available?
So this is only why we are bringing all these things up front, to better orient all the participants, keep thinking in this line. So it's not connected or maybe somehow like all the panel discussion somewhere or other way is connected to this one. Once we understand what we are aiming at, end of the meeting we can come up with some kind of solid recommendations and fine-tune this document. So the next session, the technical platforms, we need to understand when we are talking about the next generation educational initiatives. We have two wonderful people here, and also we are sharing our experiences, how best we have integrated as part of National Virtual Academy for Indian Agriculture, together with the inaugural pilot to the university as well as managing now. So after that, when we have the vice chancellors, the recommendations, like their experiences and challenges, because in their day-to-day business, they are very well aware of the insights of most of these details. So their valuable inputs are very, very useful to further form these bylaws and everything. Before we go on to the next session, when we prepare for that one, any one or two vice chancellors would like to express their views or commitment, maybe starting with the vice CMOU, because you are there in this business for a long time, and how do you see that one or two individuals? And anyhow, like we will be having an opportunity to have more discussions in that one.
Thank you very much for giving this opportunity to be part of this particular consortium. One thing I would like to mention, I have joined recently as a Vice Chancellor for last 6 months, and I'm very happy about the Agriculture School of our university. They are training almost 20,000 students. And one thing which I have done after joining is we have made our material free. We have kept all 400 books on our website, and it is free to all. Another thing we have mentioned, those who are not interested in getting the degree, they would like to use our material, it will be free of cost. So whatever questions are asked, I think immediately without any thought, we don't have any problems. And no financial constraint. In that way, we have full autonomy, and in that way, we can be, would like to be. Because that is the purpose why we are working in our state. And that's why I'm very happy to see what we have proposed. Thank you very much.
So we can count on you, so you're
Yeah,
supporting and joining.
definitely on all aspects.
So let's hear from one more university, the traditional way of systems, like Mr. Sir, would you like to say something? And then maybe we can have our local, because we always consider they are part of that one.
One major area, as you said. One is, as you said, information, knowledge, technical, virtually online. But the only portion will come is degree. There should be some authority to recognize. In Indian situation, only Indian Council of Agriculture has the power to accredit institutions. Because we face so many, the regular colleges are not there, but the degrees are not accepted. See, once the degrees are not accepted, the degree has no value in a appointment. Perhaps it is the international level to create a brand image, but this consortium. And if the degree is recognized, don't bother. They need not go to government service. 90% of our agriculture boys are going to private industry, seed industry. They never bother which, but they will get the huge level. So perhaps one major requirement is the brand image. See, even in university there is a variation. Some universities, suppose even in the colleges there is a variation. Suppose we had 581. Some colleges, if I open the admission, within first 1,000 people will choose them. There are some cases, some will not join at all, though it is recognized. So all issues we have to take. The quality control aspect is there. Very,
I'm sure, sir, we thought through this one. That's where we need your help and guidance, because how we can create that brand, like maybe this many universities, the international organizations come together. At the same time, we need to see how do we validate these learners and the kind of mechanism. If we need to accredit that one and accept that one, this is where collectively, it's not we all together, we need to define those things and take this one further, create that brand one. So Mr. Saab and one or two, yeah.
Thank you very much. We appreciate the need of use of ICT for the purpose of teaching and learning. And in our own university, we are in the process of establishing a sort of studio where these developed programs can be developed. But at the moment, we don't have such facility. But that facility has to be created, whether it is created out of resources from the state government or from ICA or wherever it is. But it is a necessity which we have to realize. That's number one. And number two, as far as the veterinary science is concerned, a lot of practical aspects are there. Maybe to a larger extent, we can take care of practicals through simulations. But ultimately, a component, maybe 20%, 25%, maybe we can take a decision. It has to be there. Then only you can, push those people to go for practice. So that has to be considered before we go for such programs. Otherwise, the canteens are very good.
It's extremely good, like maybe the way we are also thinking of these questions and also finding the solutions. I'm sure like other vice chancellors, they have the recommendations too. We have a round table. Probably you're all taking the lead and providing and having these discussions. I'm sure like you help us for all of us to move forward. Thank you. And we need to also keep up the time. Why not?
I want to thank you all, and we're going to have a large opportunity this afternoon, but I want to thank everybody for being uncomfortable here, because we're in the gray area. We are not developing a product, but we're developing a process. So thank you for your willingness to be part of this journey together. And now we're going to segue to talking a little bit about the technology that will support that, and then want to hear from the vice chancellors on your perspectives and more feedback. So thank you very much.